Everybody doing? Good. That's awesome. So kind of a cool thing, as Brian said, my name is Pete. I actually come from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's awesome to be here. Who's from Wisconsin? Anybody from Wisconsin? All right. Good deal. So kind of a cool little tidbit, something that's on the back of my mind while I'm here this weekend is actually in 21 days, I actually get married to my holy knockout fiance. Here's a picture of her right up here. Yeah, there she is. So this is pretty sweet. So we actually, in January, just this past year, had the opportunity to get engaged in Rome at St. Peter's Square. How Catholic nerdy is that, you know what I'm saying? So so that's a picture of us just getting engaged, which is pretty sweet. So again, 21 days, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, pretty good. So how many of you guys are musicians? Do we have any musicians in the crowd? Decent amount of you guys. Some of you guys play like the tuba. Some of you play guitar. Some of you play piano. Maybe some of you still play the recorder. You know, I don't know if any of you guys still play the recorder. Myself, I'm a musician. It's one of like the deepest passions within me is I'm a musician. I play guitar, I sing, I just love music. You know, that's a huge thing. There's one band specifically that kind of reigns supreme in my life. It's a band called Switchfoot. If you've ever heard of them, here's a picture of them. Yeah, okay, so these guys, it's a band called Switchfoot, and they're actually from Southern California. They're obviously like a bunch of like kind of surfer guys or whatnot. And just to paint a little picture, I'm a little mildly obsessed with this band, okay? I may or may not follow them on Twitter. I may or may not follow their lead singer, John Foreman, on Twitter. I may or may not have all 9 of their albums. I may or may not know how to play and sing about 75% of the songs on those albums. I may or may not go to their website once a day. I may or may not go to their fan website twice a day just to check up on updates. You see what I'm saying? Like a little, just a tad bit mildly obsessed with this band. So a couple of years ago, this was about 3 years ago, it was in December. So wicked cold, like I'm in Milwaukee. You guys know what cold is all about up here. Just wicked cold in Milwaukee, and I'm in my office, freezing. I'm on my computer. I'm like typing away, and I'm on Gmail, okay? Gmail has this thing called G-Chat. It's like an instant messenger, okay? And it's the old fogey version of instant messenger. So I'm like typing away, and my friend Dan is on G-Chat, okay? So he's instant messaging me. We're going like back and forth. He's the guy who actually got me into the band Switchfoot, which is kind of cool. He's one of my best friends from college. And he says, "Hey, Pete!" Exclamation point. "Hey, what?" ... "I won a contest." "No way, that's awesome, man. What kind of contest?" "I won a sweepstakes!" Exclamation point. "No way, that's crazy. I always thought sweepstakes, the whole point of them is nobody wins, you know?" "What kind of sweepstakes did you win?" "I'm going to the Rose Bowl. This is so awesome. My buddy Dan gets to go to the Rose Bowl. The Wisconsin Badgers are in the Rose Bowl. Kind of a big deal. Everybody's freaking out about it. That's awesome, man. Pete, I want you to go with me." "No way. How cool is that? In the middle of the Milwaukee winter, I get to go to Pasadena, California? Are you serious?" "Of course. You know, with my best friend. How cool is this?" "Pete, guess who's going to be there?" ... "Who? Question mark. Switchfoot's going to be there." "No way. What are they doing? Are they like playing a concert? You know, are they doing the halftime show? What's going on?" "No, Pete, they're going to be with us." ... "What do you mean by with us? ... Question mark. "They're going to be with us, period." "Dan, comma, what do you mean by with us?" "They're going to be with italicized us." "Dan, what do you mean by with?" You know? "Pete, they're going to be with all caps us." You know? So here's what he won. I kid you not. All expenses paid trip to go to Pasadena, California, to go to the Rose Bowl, hotel, the flight, lodging, everything paid for to go to the Rose Bowl with the band. There's no other reason that they're there except to hang out with me and my best friend who are mildly obsessed with this band. Okay, freak out. So on January 1st, we flew into Pasadena, California, stayed in a hotel, And on the day of the game, it's about 11:30. The game starts at 1, and my buddy Dan gets a call on his cell phone. Their manager calls, like this Grammy Award-winning band, like multi-million-dollar grossing, calls my friend Dan on his cell phone. You see what I'm saying? He says, we're going to be there at about 11:45, so make sure that you're ready. So we, like, run up to the hotel, and guys specifically, I promise you this, I have never once cared about what I looked like in terms of my clothing in my entire life. But when we heard that they were coming, it was like I was a 15-year-old girl at a Justin Bieber concert, like freaking out. So we're like, like, does this look good? Does that look good? I don't really know. What are they going to like? I'm not really sure. So we go outside. We have an entire backpack full of stuff for them to sign, like super nerdy. We're like 26 at this time. So it's just like waiting for them. And all of a sudden, down Colorado Boulevard, which is in Pasadena, California, we see this black limo van. We see it approach. It looks like them, so we start like kind of hitting each other. Crap, this is them. Oh my gosh. So they're coming down. All of a sudden, the blinker turns on. Whew. My heart is just sinking. Come in. They pull in right in front of us. We're just standing there looking like super nerds, Pull up out of this black 12-passenger van. Door flies open. Out comes John Foreman, okay, my hero. Like, this is one, follow him on Twitter, know all of his songs. He walks out of the van, sticks out his right hand and says, hey, Pete. He says, hey, I'm John. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, well, no crap, you're John. Like, you live in Encinitas, California. You have a young daughter. I know how to play 75% of your songs. I mean, how many super creepy things could I tell you about who you are? I know who you are. But I didn't say that. Instead, I said, hi, I'm Pete. I'm from Wisconsin, So this was awesome. We actually got to go to the game with them. So hung out with them for like 5 or 6 hours. I literally asked every super nerdy question I could ever ask. Like, literally just like got to know them. I mean, think of the person that you're super nerdy about, because we all are in some way, shape, or form, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whether it's a baseball player, whether it's a dancer. I don't know, like whatever it is that you're super into. Like, imagine meeting that person and actually talking to them, getting to know them. See, what I learned from this experience is there is something completely different about knowing a lot about somebody and actually getting to know them. Completely different. I work at a Catholic high school. I talk about faith all the time with people. And I think one of the biggest things when it comes to Catholicism is we tend to know a lot about Jesus up here. Like, a lot of you have probably done the Catholic school thing. I know when I was in high school and throughout grade school, like, did the Catholic school thing, went to confirmation class, prayed before meals. Like, I did all of this stuff, but it always kind of stayed up here. I could have told you every single answer about who Jesus is, who he was. But the reality is that there is something completely different about knowing a lot about somebody and actually getting to know them. Completely different. I knew everything about Switchfoot, but actually meeting them was a completely different experience. Why? Because it's personal. God is personal. Like, you can actually have a relationship with him. Like, if we look at who God is, we see the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We've learned this since we were 3 years old, most likely. Like, who he is in his very essence, his very being, is he is a relationship. And if you look at what the gospel shows us, if you look at what the gospel reveals, is Christ saying, come, follow me. Join me in this relationship, because he's personal. He's a relationship that we can actually know him. Like, literally, when he went to prostitutes and tax collectors and his disciples, he would tell them, come and follow me. And not just that one time, but to actually walk with him, to be with him every single day, to develop an actual personal relationship with him. And guys, I've experienced this in my life, that God is personal, that he is a relationship. When I was in high school, especially like my freshman, sophomore year, at this point in my life, like, all I knew how to pray was like the Our Father. I knew the Hail Mary, which are good prayers. But I was always praying from up here. I was always just like reciting things or just kind of saying canned prayers that I knew. I never prayed from here. I even started going to like conferences and did retreats. Started going to like youth group and got kind of involved in things. But I can remember one specific time that I was sitting in a chapel. We had like a Eucharistic adoration chapel at my parish, and I was sitting down in the pew. I was gazing upon Christ present to us in Eucharistic adoration. And when I was looking at him, there was like one like old 65-year-old lady in the, in the pew. I was just like looking at him, and all of a sudden, I wasn't praying from up here. I was praying from here. I was praying from my heart. I was saying, Lord, I need you in my life. There's this situation that's really difficult. And I started to actually pray from my heart. And guys, this has absolutely changed my life, 100%. The opportunity that I have to actually sit down every morning and to have a personal relationship with God, because he's personal. Let's just take a couple of moments to stop and to actually speak from our heart and to pray with this song.